Hello, and welcome back to Diecast Graveyard. My name is Paul. Today we're going to restore a Hot Wheels Deora. This is one of the original Sweet 16 cars, and this car will also be added to the group of cars that I'm giving away when I reach 2,000 subscribers. That's right, I'm going to be giving away a complete restored set of the Sweet 16 cars. Now the key to that though is you have to be a subscriber. But that's not a big deal because you're already here enjoying the video. Well, this car here is got some definite paint missing and it's got some flaws and everything. The plastic seems to be in good shape for the windshield, and we're going to need to scrounge up a couple of surfboards, but I think I got a few somewhere around the shop, so I'll have to check it out. But once we get this car apart, we'll be able to evaluate it a little bit better. So let's just go ahead and get started with the project. Here I've got the holes or the post already drilled out. Just got to snap the car apart there. Now, here's the interior, and it's got the steering wheel. Now, the steering wheel clips onto that little clip there in the top, and I've got no idea how, but I'll have to research it and figure it out. But that's kind of a silly way to do it. The windshield pops out there. Now, the windshield's in fairly good shape. It's got some warpage to it, but that's from where they cast it. But it's in good shape. It's not cracked. Knock on wood. We're good to go there. The base, that looks pretty good. And it's a lowrider, so it's got all small wheels. It's got all small red line wheels. And not a lot of cars had that. I think this may be the only one. But we're going to have to clean up that tarnish and get that taken care of. Now the body's in good shape overall. We're just going to need to strip down the paint and see what we're looking at as far as the toning and the like. And we're going to have to use some steel wool and some Scotch-Brite pads, and we'll get it all polished up. Let's get it in the stripper. Here we're going to put it in the stripper. I'm using Citrus Strip. Now I use it because it's cheap and it's reasonable and it's easy to find at Walmart. You can find it at other places too. But the product works good. Doesn't work fast, but it works good. Make sure you get the inside of the car, and we're going to flip it over and do the outside too. Now I think we're going to go ahead and restore this in the original aqua. We're going to try and bring it back to its former glory. Once you get the car all covered with the paint stripper, then we're going to let that set for a while and we'll continue on with something else. Now it's time to address the base. The base is tarnished, and we're going to put it in a mixture of lime away and water, a 50-50 mixture. Put it in there, and then estimated you leave it in approximately 4 minutes. Now I have seen before where if you leave it longer than 4 minutes it turns the surface black. Try not to let it get to that point.
Several minutes later.
After letting it sit approximately 4 minutes, this is what it looks like. So make sure you have your safety gear on. Here I'm wearing latex rubber gloves, and I've got my eye protection on in case you get any of that lime away on your face. You don't want it to go in your eyes. Taking a brass brush, we're going to go ahead and scrub it down and get off any other stubborn tarnish that's on there. Just scrub it down as best you can. Take a look at it and see what you think. Once you've done scrubbing an area, go ahead and dip it back into lime away and water to rinse off any foam that you've created by scrubbing it with the brass brush, and take a look and see if you're happy with the results. Again, if you leave it longer than 4 minutes, there is a chance that the lime away will turn the base metal black. And once you do that, it's very, very hard to get out that residue. So please be careful with that and you'll be fine. Got a scratch there I'm going to have to buff out. Now it's time to polish the body. We're going to use this Blue Magic Metal Polish Cream. I got this, I think, at like AutoZone or someplace like that. It's not that expensive. Going to smear a bunch of it all over the entire car, and then take my Dremel with a polishing bonnet, and we're going to go to town and polish this bad boy up. Alright, I think we're ready there. Let's put this away. You want to make sure that you close the lid in your jar. Depending on the polishing wheel or buffered wheel, whatever you're using, it'll throw stuff everywhere, and a lot of that stuff lands in your jar of cream. How do you think I know this? Okay, just make sure you cover everything up and get it out of the way. And you don't want to do this polishing stuff anywhere near any cars you've just freshly painted or anything like that, because it'll fly all over the place. And if you got some fairly decent clothes on, it'll fly all over your clothes and it'll stain them and they won't come out. Again, here's a tip from your Uncle Paulie. Make sure that you got your area picked up of anything that you don't want this polishing cream on or the residue, because it'll find it. Trust me. Alright, just a little bit that we've done so far. That's looking really, really nice. Especially once you wipe it down. Now, before you paint your car, once this is all polished and everything, make sure you get some degreaser and get in there with a toothbrush and scrub it down with the degreaser, inside and out. This will prepare your body for paint. The better you prep your body for paint, the better your paint job is going to be. And once you finish cleaning this up with the degreaser, try not to get your big fingers all over the darn thing, because the oils from your hands will also affect your paint job. So make sure you either carry it in like a towel or rubber gloves or anything like that. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and click on that little bell to be alerted to any future videos that come out. And we still got a bunch of videos down the line that we're going to get out here fairly soon. Alright, well, I think I've bored you enough watching the polishing here, so let's just go ahead and fast forward to the end. Now that we got the car all polished up, we went ahead and rubbed it down, got all the residue off there, ran it in the sink, sprayed some degreaser on it, scrubbed it down, and now we're ready for paint. Here I'm using the original color of the car, and it's the Aqua Spectraflame paint that I picked up from the Redline shop. Put on a few light mist coats. Make sure you cover the entire car. Don't saturate it at this point at all, because if you get too much on there, again, it's going to run, and you don't want to do that. Just keep rotating the car, get the inside and the outside. I'm using approximately 20 pounds of pressure here when I'm painting with my airbrush. Now, the airbrush I'm using is a Pache Talon. I recommend this airbrush highly. It's very reasonably priced, but make sure if you do this, you get the kit. And the reason you get the kit is because it's got 2 extra needles in there. One is finer than the one that's in there now, and the other one is a thicker needle, and that allows you to spray a lot more volume. So definitely pick up a Pache Talon airbrush kit. Now, if you have any questions about that, go to my video. I'll put it in the links, how to select an airbrush, and it will explain things a little bit better. That's starting to look really nice. This is the second layer of coats that we're putting on here, so we're putting them on a little bit thicker. But man, look how pretty that color is. My favorite color overall is between a blue and a teal, and I love these Spectraflame paints because, man, I tell you, with a nice shiny metal background, they look like a mirror. It's incredible. Yeah, that's looking super, super nice. There, I think we're done with this. Let's put it in the cabinet. Now we're going to have to let it sit overnight so it'll dry nice.
The very next morning.
Here we've got the base, and now we're going to do our wheel swap. This one here is very unusual. Like I said before, it's got 4 small bearing tires on there, which I can't think of any other cars that do this. Have the 4 small tires, of course. Pop them off, make sure you use your thumb, both thumbs, and put equal pressure on there and pull it straight off. If it feels like it's stretching farther than it should, or if your wheels are real sloppy, your axles I mean, you don't want to pull these off. You're going to have to cut the wheels off to put the new ones on. Just be careful and use your judgment. There we go. 4 new sneakers all the way around. This is going to make the car look really good with those brand new tires. I also got my tires from the Redline shop. Using your tool, put it on the axle, between the axle and the bearing, and push down with your thumb to seat the wheel. You shouldn't see any more bearings sticking out when you're done doing this. Just take your time and be careful with it because you don't want to snap it or bend it. Looking nice. Sweet. All right, let's move on. Here we're going to detail the base. I've got the tail light in the back. I'm going to use a red Sharpie marker and we're going to color this in. Now I put my pen at an angle instead of using just the tip. Now I'm getting older and my vision is not the way it used to be when I was young. I use a set of magnifying glasses when I'm working on the cars like this to make sure that I'm coloring in between the lines, let's say. And if you get any excess where you touch the rest of the base, you can use lacquer thinner, or in this case alcohol, to remove any excess that where you might have touched your car accidentally with the pen. Now if you let this dry, you can put another coat on top of it. Sometimes I'll use the Sharpie marker, sometimes I'll use the Sharpie paint pen. The paint pen will definitely cover any imperfections. Now we've got the back end taped off, we're going to go ahead and spray on that tonneau cover that goes on the back. Now the paint that I use here is the Redline vinyl paint, and this imitates like a vinyl roof from an older car or a vinyl tonneau cover like you see here. This is one of the few paints from the Redline shop that you don't have to mix with any hardener. You work it straight out of the bottle, so you only need a little tiny bit here, and that's where a gravity feed airbrush comes in. You can put a very small amount in there and spray it and then just clean it out, versus if you have a suction feed or a siphon feed, it'll take a lot of extra paint in order for it to go up into that straw, and you tend to waste a lot of paint. Now this paint isn't cheap, that you know, but it's definitely great. Well, we've painted it up and we immediately removed any of the tape covering. That looks absolutely sweet. There we go, the Black Magic Black Vinyl Roof Simulation paint. www.redlineshop.com. Very, very good product. And again, one more time, you don't have to mix it with any hardener. You use it straight out of the bottle and only use a little bit. Nice. Here we've got all our pieces. We got the base all polished up and detailed. That's looking good. Got 4 brand new tires on there. That's sweet. We got the steering wheel attached to the clip. Excuse me. Had to use a little bit of glue to get it to stay. And we got the windshield that looks fantastic. Here's the paint job on the body, and they got that black simulated tonneau cover in the back. Looks absolutely brilliant. Let's put it together and do our reveal. And this is what we started with. The car is all chipped up and it's got some toning to it. Very well played with, let's say. Very well played with. We got a lot of work to do to bring this back to the brand new condition that this vehicle deserves. And this is the fruits of our labor. A beautifully restored Deora, complete with aftermarket surfboards. Now I got these surfboards from Bright Vision, and if you need to get some, you go to brightvisionwheels.com and they have them there. Now I also have seen them sold on eBay and other places. Man, this car is looking sweet. Now I do have the surfboard sticking out in the back a little bit further. That's because the paint on the back tonneau cover is still a little bit soft, so I didn't want to force these in there and scratch it up. Make sure you let your paint completely dry before you do anything. But man, this is looking sweet. Now this car also will be going in to the 2,000 subscriber giveaway, where I'm giving away a complete set of the restored Sweet 16 cars. Notification and words on that will be following here in the future as we get closer to 2,000 subscribers. I do have a Patreon account, and I'll leave a link to that in the comments section. I would like to thank the Diecast Graveyard team. Thank you, Mr. Aaron Murphy. Jim Silva, who has a YouTube page. Please check out his builds. Fantastic artist, and he does great work. Also would like to thank Chris Smith. Sir, thank you very much for being a member of the Patreon team. I want to thank you so much for joining me here today, and we're going to have a lot more builds coming up on Diecast Graveyard. Again, thank you for your subscriptions, and we'll see you down the road. Cheers.